everyone, welcome back. So today I have the new Laura Mercier palette for you and a comparison against the Artist 2 palette. Now this palette has been one of my favorites for a long time now. So when this came out, I kind of debated a little bit on whether I should get it. Some of the colors are repeats from, I believe they have an Artist 1, the Artist 2, and then this one. I think that's as many palettes as there are. This is called the Sleek and Chic Eye Palette, and I think it retails for $55. I'm not sure if it's on Sephora's website. I got mine from Nordstrom. I will definitely link it down below where I can find it online. But I believe you can still purchase the Artist Palette too on Sephora's website. I think they re-released it as a permanent item, which I'm really glad they did. This is the older packaging, and then they kind of updated the packaging. The newer palette has different like packaging, but kind of the same concept, same size, same magnetic flip top right here, same sort of layout for the eyeshadows. Now I'm going to point out the shadows that are newer in this palette, and then the ones that are repeat from the ones that I have, and also ones that I know that I may have seen in previous palettes before. I don't have the Artist 1, but I can tell you which one I think might be in the Artist 1 palette. I'm not quite sure, but I think I'm right. And then we'll just do some swatches. So to start off, here is the new palette. It looks like this on the outside, and then has the magnetic closure right here, a really nice mirror right here, and then here are the shadows. So it kind of has some lights, and then it moves to dark. Right off the bat, this color right here, African Violet, is a repeat. This is in all three of the palettes, I believe. This is the repeating shade. And then this shade, Bamboo, is in the Artist 2 palette, the other one that I have. Another repeat shade in the Artist 2 is this shade right here, and this is Espresso Bean. This is one of my favorite shades, so I don't really mind because it's a really deep, dark, chocolatey brown, but it's very, very dark. It's a great alternative to black. And then this shade down here, Morning Dew, I believe was a shade that was included in the Artist 1. I'm not sure, but I know it's not in the Artist 2. So compared to the palette that I currently have here, the other one, the Artist 2, there are 3 repeat shades: African Violet, Bamboo, and Espresso Bean. The rest of them are new, so if you do have Artist 2, the rest of these shades are new. Here is kind of a difference between the two of them. This is Artist 2, and this is the new one, Sleek and Chic, down here. So this shade right here, Fresco, is one of my favorites. And there is Plum Smoke right above it, which is a really nice matte shade. Down here, you really only have 2 matte shades. And one is a little, Ginger is like a little bit more lighter than this color, Fresco, right here, but it still is a great transition shade. It has a little bit more peachy to it. Plum Smoke and Cashmere are similar, except Plum Smoke is darker, more purpley. This still has like a dusty mauve undertone to it. The Artist 2, as you can see, has a little bit more warm shades, and then these deeper purples. This one, these are all matte right here. So this one has more of some bronzy shades. This is a purpley, this is a plummy, and this is more of like a reddish bronze, and then this is like a coppery color. But these are all with a shimmer or a sheen to them, and these are all matte. So that is quite the difference. There's more mattes in the Artist 2, and there are less mattes in this palette. But still, there is a deep dark black, and instead here, there's more of the Espresso Bean, which is the deep chocolate, and then a really dark purpley matte shade in the Artist 2 palette. Now that you can kind of see the difference, I'm going to go ahead and swatch this, and then I'll talk about what I think the differences between the two palettes are, as opposed to do you need both? If you already have one, would I recommend getting the other? If I think you can get different looks between the two of them. So if you're interested in seeing swatches on this palette, I will leave the video that I've done on that particular palette, the Artist 2, down below. But now I'm going to move on and show you the swatches of the new palette. This first color here is called Stellar, and it is like a cream color, and it has a little bit of a sheen to it. So there is Stellar right there. You see, it's just a really slight sheen. This color right here is called Ginger, and it is like a matte peach color, a great transition. The thing that I love about these palettes are that the mattes are super, super matte and very, very easy to blend, very nice and creamy. They just blend out so beautifully. So that is Ginger. I will say that this shade looks darker on the skin. As you can see, it packs like a punch. It's very pigmented, very nice and smooth, and it's darker when you apply it to like the crease or on your skin than it looks in the pan. That is Ginger. This color right here is called Bamboo, and it is like a neutral brown color. I would say this is a really nice satin brown with like a little bit of a taupe to it. That is Bamboo, and now that is a repeat shade in the Artist 2 palette as well. This color is called Cedar, and it is a really nice coppery shade. There is Cedar right there, really beautiful coppery shade. This one, it just applies better on the eyes, honestly, than it swatches. I have this through my crease, and I just find that it applies better. It's a little bit more of a stiffer shadow in the palette. This color, Bronze Glow, is like the star of the palette. I have this all over my lid today. It's definitely the softest shade in the palette by far. It's definitely the most metallic, and it just is like a really nice darker bronzy glow, but oh, it's just so beautiful. It's a really nice goldeny bronze shade. And this shade right here, Espresso Bean, this is a really nice deep chocolatey matte brown shade. I love this as opposed to using black. This is just really a beautiful shade, one of my favorites from the Artist 2 palette, because this is a repeat shade. That is Espresso Bean, and you see how pigmented that is, and it just blends out so beautifully when you go using, especially using this with a brush. You only need a little bit. Okay, now to the bottom row. This is Morning Dew, and it is a matte shade. I would say it's like a cream, almost with like a pink undertone to it, but it's a really beautiful, nice, brightening matte shade. That is Morning Dew, and it does have like a little... This shade right here is Cashmere, and it is like a really beautiful taupey matte transition shade. I love this color, especially when you're going to be using some of the purples. This is really great. See, this is like the warmer row, and this is the cooler row down here. That is Cashmere, and again, this one applies a little bit deeper on the skin. Love that shade. This shade right here is African Violet, and it is a repeat in all the shades. I think this is a shade that Laura Mercier is known for. It's a beautiful purple shade, like a lavender shade with a gold sheen running through it. There is African Violet. It's almost like a rose gold. It's pouring rain out. I don't know if you can hear it. The shade right here is called Cedar Wood, and it has a little bit of a sheen to it. There is Cedar Wood right there. This shade right here is called Plummifique, and it's a really nice plum shade with a pretty sheen. As you can see, this one has a little bit more plum to it. This has a little bit more of a reddish bronze to it. This is a little bit deeper, a little bit more purpley. And the last shade is Noir, which is a matte deep black shade. Again, very black, very rich, and blends out beautifully. So as you can see, this is the more warm tone row. This is the more cool tone row. What I will say about this palette is it is a complete palette. It has both a highlight and a matte brow bone color. It has two different cooler and warmer tone matte transition shades, so you can get a full look from this palette. It also has a variety of lid shades and then some really nice deep darkening shades in both a matte brown and a black. That for me makes a complete palette. So I do recommend this palette. I think if you have both palettes, you're gonna find that you're gonna reach for both because they both offer different things. This palette, I will say, the Artist 2, doesn't really have that pizzazz lid shade besides the African Violet. I find that this one does have that pizzazz lid shade because it does have more shades with some sheen to it. So if you're not wanting to do a full matte look, I think that this is a really great palette. It has a little bit more of a variety of lid shades, where this one bamboo. It still has bamboo. It has the African violet, but it doesn't really have that golden shade or that bronzy shade that I find that this one does. Really quickly, I wanted to sort of swatch this Plum Smoke from this palette just to compare it so that you could see next to the other color, the Cashmere color, so that you could see. This is the Cashmere color from the new Sleek and Chic palette, and this is Plum Smoke. Plum Smoke is definitely darker and cooler. I wanted to swatch the transition shade Ginger and Fresco so that you could see the difference between those. This is Ginger, which is the matte transition shade from the Sleek and Chic palette, and this is from the Artist 2, that is Fresco. This has a little bit more pink to it, a little bit more peach. So a little bit darker transition shades in the Artist 2 palette and a little bit more light transition shades in the new Sleek and Chic palette. Overall, I think this is a really great palette. I personally think I'm going to find use for both. That's just my opinion, but I hope the swatches helped for you to decide if you already have something in your collection that's similar. The quality of the eyeshadows is amazing. It's really, really great and blendable. I want to emphasize that because these are some of the most blendable shades, and I don't have as much trouble with fallout using the Laura Mercier palettes as I do with some other palettes. The shades are just super quality, so I do want to emphasize that. So no matter what, you're getting a really great quality palette. Even if you don't have the Artist 2 and you want to just purchase this and you're wondering about the quality is amazing. Really quickly, I did want to go over what I'm wearing on my eyes because I am wearing the new Sleek and Chic palette, and I'm wearing in my crease the Ginger shade, which is the peachy shade, and so I blended that in my crease. And then on the lid, I'm wearing Bronze Glow all over the lid, and the outer corner I used a combination of CEDAR and Cherrywood to kind of darken that up and then just blend along the line a little bit into the crease, and I did big circular motions. And then to deepen it up just on the outer corner, I used a little bit of the espresso bean, and then I just did wing liner, and on the bottom lash line I used a little bit more of that Bronze Glow. So that is what I used. For my highlight, I mixed both the Morning Dew and the Stellar on my brow bone. So I really like the way that the look came out. I'm excited to play a little bit more with this palette. And like I said, there's so many looks that I can think of that I can do with this palette that I couldn't do with the Artist 2, and also I can use them in conjunction with one another. So hope this helps. Again, if you're interested in seeing more in-depth swatches of the Artist 2, I will leave that linked down below so you can check that video out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Mwah.